So now that the bomb has gone off, we're going to break the hammer into a bunch of pieces. This is going to be similar to what we did with the symbol box when the stick figure broke out. I'll add a keyframe right after the hammer animation. Then let's make it a new symbol called hammer exploded. Go inside, and let's Control B to break it apart, and once more to get the raw shapes. Now we can divide this up. I'm just going to draw with a green line to split the hammer into nice jagged sections. And then a couple breaks in the handle too. Oh, I had object drawing mode on, so I need to do a break apart on the green lines. Now they'll actually divide the hammer shape. So next I'll just click to select each section and turn them into symbols. Now to get rid of the lines, I'm going to select all, then use Shift click to deselect all the symbols, leaving just the line selected, which I'll delete. So now we've got the hammer divided up, and I think it's going to be best to animate this on the main timeline so the pieces can interact with other things if we want. I'll make a new empty layer, and this is going to end up being a lot of layers for all those pieces, so I'm going to make a layer folder and put the new layer in that. Then I'll cut and paste to put the hammer down on that layer. Then break it apart, leaving the symbols inside it. And then select those and do Distribute to Layers. Now all the pieces have their own layer. And I'll name the folder they're in, Hammer Pieces. So those are all set up. Now the only piece I don't want here is the handle segment that the cursor is holding. I'm actually going to replace the last pose of the hammer with an empty frame and copy and paste the handle segment there. And now we'll have the cursor and handle keep going as they follow through on the swing. Set that to ease out. Make it faster. Now let's go back to the rest of the hammer. Let's put the explosion in outline mode so we can see the hammer. Then all the parts are going to be flying out away from the explosion. So I want to draw a basic guide to help get the path of the pieces right. So on this empty layer here, I'll draw in some paths like this. Then I'll lock that layer so I can't accidentally mess with those. Now I'm going to start from the front of the hammer, since those pieces would be affected first. Now let's think about the smartest way to do this so it's easy but also really realistic and convincing. I want the pieces to be spinning as they fly away, but I don't want to have to animate that on top of following the trajectory to the ground. So I'm going to make another version of each symbol that has the spinning animation in it. I'm going to select the first piece of the hammer and make it a symbol called hammer piece 6 rotate. Then inside I'll make another keyframe and tween it. And I'll change the rotate property from auto to clockwise, which gives us a complete rotation. But if the rotation is complete, it's going to stutter for a frame when the animation loops. So let's create a keyframe just before the last one and delete the final keyframe. Now set the rotation number to 0, but still clockwise. And now we have a rotation that will loop perfectly. Now next step, I'm going to take the rotating piece symbol and make a new symbol again and call it hammer piece 6 fall. Then I'm going to set an end keyframe and make a tween of the piece falling down off screen and set it to ease in. Oops, that's way too slow. I'd better shorten this tween. Or I can try moving it farther down. We're animating the fall here because it will help make the fall more realistic. So the downward acceleration of gravity on an object is the same no matter how far or fast it's traveling horizontally. So if we get the gravity right here, we only have to worry about animating the horizontal motion on the main timeline. For example, back on the main timeline, we can set a keyframe out here and then choose how far horizontally to move it. And if we shift it upward slightly, it will make a nice arc. Then we add the tween, and that piece falls. It's still a little slow, so let's go inside and shorten the fall. And then this last position here should be shifted upward, so it's just hitting the ground on this keyframe. There, that looks really convincing. Next, at the point where the piece hits the bottom of the stage, we're going to copy the keyframe, then break it apart, and apart again to get the original hammer piece 6 symbol, so we can animate it bouncing and coming to a rest by hand. I'm just going to go frame by frame and position the piece bouncing slightly and rotating as it goes. And then a tween at the end to give it a nice little slide. So that's it for the first piece. Now we just need to do the same for all the others. I'll set the piece 6 layer to outline mode so we can see better. And also let's lock the explosion layer and turn off onion skinning. Now let's repeat the steps for the next piece. Select an F8 to make a new symbol. Hammer piece 5, rotate. Also, let's get rid of the bomb after this frame. Then go inside hammer piece 5, rotate. Add a keyframe at 1 second. Add a tween. Let's do counterclockwise for the rotation. Add a key before the end. Delete the end frame. Set the rotation to 0. On the main timeline, select and make another new symbol called hammer piece 5, fall. Then inside at 2 seconds, add a key and move the piece off the bottom. Set the easing to ease in 100. Then on the main timeline, add a key and shift it over where we want to hit the ground. And we'll see how that looks. You know, I think they're both falling pretty slow. I'm going to go into the piece 5 fall symbol and move it down further on the last keyframe. That'll make it move faster. Of course, now we need to move the end point of the horizontal tween so the piece still hits the ground in the same place. Okay, now it's hitting at the end, but since I moved that up, the arc it goes on is a lot higher. Maybe it just needs to hit the ground earlier. So let's set a key here and shift so this is where it lands. And then I'm just going to redo the bounce, same way as before, frame by frame. And then a short keyframed slide. There, that's good. Okay, let's do the bounce on piece 5 here. Break apart and break apart again to get the base symbol. Then for this one, let's just have it slide instead of bounce. Okay, now the next piece. I'll set the pieces we've done to outline so we can work on the top one here. Select it. This is hammer piece 7, so let's make a new symbol called hammer piece 7 rotate. Go inside and make the rotation animation. This one will be clockwise. Then a new symbol, hammer piece 7 fall. Inside, make a 2-second animation where it falls off the bottom. Then back on the main timeline, let's decide where we want it to impact. Let's do it on this frame, and let's have it hit the wall and then fall to the floor. Let's hit a little lower so the arc isn't so high. Okay, break apart, break apart. And I'll do this little fall and bounce frame by frame. Let's have it rotate till it lands on one of its flat edges. And let's have it bump into one of the other pieces that's already at rest. So I'll add another slide tween on both of these. Great, next piece. Let's do the big bottom one, hammer piece 3. So new symbol for rotation, add the rotation animation, new symbol, hammer piece 3 fall, make the fall animation inside it, and I'm realizing the rotation is the opposite of what I intended. Thankfully, I can just go inside that symbol and change the rotation independent from everything else. That's another advantage of doing things this way. So now let's position the landing spot for this piece. I don't like that. Let's have it land closer. Okay, break apart, and have it bounce. Then it's hitting the other piece, so let's make that one slide with a tween. Then at this point, let's move the anchor point and have it rotate around this corner. And we'll have it go up a little and then tip back down. And let's check it out. That's too bouncy for a piece this size. I'm going to redo that bounce. I think since it's coming almost straight down, I'm going to make it bounce a lot less and move it to the side less. There, I like that a lot better. Then we don't need the slide on that other piece. Okay, on to the next piece, hammer piece 4. Make the rotate symbol. Animate the rotation. This time let's make it 2 seconds so all the pieces don't rotate at the same rate. Then make the fall symbol. Animate the fall. Now let's make this piece hit the wall. That's probably going to be too fast. Let's try the end keyframe here and have the piece hit the wall. Yeah, that arc looks perfect. Now let's have it bounce off the wall and fall all the way down and land here. And do another bounce. And I'll move the anchor point to this corner and have the opposite end do a little bounce with some tweens. There, that's good. Now I'm just going to blow through the rest of these. These two remaining chunks of the head are going to fly towards the corner like the other ones. The last piece is the segment of the handle. We do this the same way. And I'm going to have it hit the ground and just slide. Now let's turn the explosion back on and see how it looks. Cool, that looks great. So our stick figure has gotten rid of the hammer, but the cursor is still holding that stick. Let's figure out what it's going to use that for in the next video.